Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Kadyn Nannini, if you don't know, aka Millennial Loan Officer here in Phoenix, Arizona. Today I have a special guest, Amir, House Foxtrot. He'll introduce himself here in a second, but today we are talking about the VA loan and BAH for active members of our military, the men and women serving today. Amir, thanks for coming on today.
Absolutely. Hey guys, Amir Farzaneh. I'm with House Foxtrot Real Estate. Kadyn, thanks for having me on, and I'm excited to talk about all the programs or the benefits for our VA servicemen and women. I am active duty or prior active duty, so this means a lot to me. So thanks for having me on.
Of course, and I'm looking forward to educating everyone.
It's your basic allowance for housing. That's what you use to pay for your mortgage. Tax-free money that the government's giving you that you don't have to worry about paying taxes on, and that's what you use to find housing for you and your family, right?
Whether you're on post and it's just considered your rent, right? Or you're off post, get a mortgage, and that money goes is for that.
Yeah, the good thing about BAH is if you're living off post, I mean, you have the option of choosing the type of home that you want. I think
it's the complete freedom.
And I think that maybe gets a little bit lost where people think that having BAH that you're restricted to certain things or you're restricted to the amount, because BAH is also by where you are, where you're located, by your zip code. So it depends on how many dependents you have, the area in which you live in. BAH here in Phoenix is around $2,400, right? For, let's just say, an E5 with a wife and a child. And I'm just using that as a generalization. It's about $2,400. It's a little bit more depending on how many dependents you have, right? So that is something that it tells you how much you need and what you can go searching for.
And almost to that, sometimes you might need more than what BAH will allow.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the housing market is completely different from what you would consider just like basic allowance for housing or necessity. Like the housing market has gotten a little more past that. I mean, some weird little stat, but since 1980, home prices have gone up 400%, incomes have gone up 250. It's another metric to show that it's just not all keeping up. That being said,
especially here in the Valley.
Here in the Valley, other places in Tacoma, JBLM, that I'm a little bit more familiar with. But I mean, the reason we started talking about this was I started to notice that I think there's a common theme where when we see that word allowance, it's like, no, that's all we can spend. And
I think it restricts people from getting a home that's actually beneficial for them, beneficial for their family. And they're thinking, you know what, if this is all I can get for BAH, then this is all that I can get for a home, no matter what. I can't do anything more.
Yeah.
And it's a common misconception, and especially, and that's something, again, that I think it hits true, at least for myself, because I'm a veteran. I've been in that position. I've been early on in my military career where I was receiving BAH right after I got married, and I thought, well, and we were living in Colorado at the time. I was like, man, the BAH has nothing to, I mean, the houses here are so much more expensive than what my BAH is.
Yes.
I can never qualify. I can never get a house. And that was just not the case. It was after going through, learning through other individuals like yourself and people who actually understood what the BAH is. Just, it's a helping tool. It's not the end all be all. And I think that's where some servicemen and women just kind of get confused, thinking that, if this is where BAH is, where I have to stay within this range. And to be honest, if you're looking at something like in the Valley here, you're going to struggle a little bit. Not to say that there aren't homes that you can't find, but for something comfortability wise for yourself and for your family, I think something you need to look into.
Yeah, and the whole financial outlook of it, and as someone who was not in the military, and we brought this up as well, but looking at just like the straight finances of it, it's a way to lock in a certain payment, right? I mean, your BAH will continue to go up year over year. It's almost bound to with inflation and everything like that.
Every year.
If you're locking in a payment.
Every year goes up.
If you're locking in a payment, that will eventually catch up, but it all depends on your goals and how long you plan on staying there, and that's always tough, potentially with military orders.
Well, okay, so on the finance side then, because you're the financier, you're the finance guy, so break that down for me. So I have a family of I have a wife and I have 2 kids, okay? And comfortability wise, I need a home that's gonna work for me. My BH is only $2,400, right? The home that I see and that I like for my family that I've worked on with my realtor is a little bit more than what my BAH will cover, right? So how do I use my BAH but also still get that home that I want,
qualify,
even
yeah.
though the home is more than what my BH will cover. So, you know,
Absolutely.
break that down for me.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're active duty, going off of your LES, you have multiple facets to your income. You have your base, you have your basic, your BAH, and you have BAS as well. You have all that combined to qualify, as well as, you know, being married and having your spouse there to help qualify as well. So you take all of that into consideration, and then obviously considerations of, you know, do you have a car loan, debt, stuff like that. But if, you know, you qualify based off of all of your income and all of your debts. So it's not just the BAH. Breaking it down into that, as long as you're getting, well, I almost want to start calling it assistance, but if you're getting that assistance from BAH to say get $2,400 and the payments, you know, $3,000, all you have to do is fill a $600 gap. And if you qualify based off of your spouse's income, the rest of your income, and then making sure your debts don't outweigh that too much, you still can qualify for the home. And
so basically, so if the house that I want is $3,000, $2,400 of my BAH is going towards that, right? But
correct.
In essence, I'm not really seeing that, because that BAH is already money that's given to me that I wasn't technically expecting, you know, only because I am married.
Yeah.
So really what I'm doing is I'm just taking that $600 from my net income that I'm getting for my base pay of work, and so my mortgage really would only be $600 in a sense, in essence, right?
I'm almost in reality, because like you said on post, that is money you don't see it ever hit the account. You know, it's basically just that rent that they just go, no, we're good if you're here.
Yeah, completely takes it out. Doesn't matter what type of home. You could get the ugliest home on post that's literally has mold, which is true. This has happened, where the home has mold. It has, I mean, the thing, you know, AC is broken. I mean, you just have a plethora of problems. It doesn't matter. If you live on post, they're going to take your entire BAH. You can't upgrade or downgrade. They may move you around, but you can't upgrade, you know, oh, I want something bigger and, you know, my BAH. No, they just take the whole thing. Doesn't matter where you are, no matter what your rank is, which is stupid. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Off post, you have a different option though.
Yeah, and it's like, I equated it to the word leverage and being able to leverage more of other people's money in a way, much like on the VA loan itself. You can go to 0% down, where other people have to put at least 3%. So you already have to, you know, in theory, 3% more money in your pocket, and then potentially now another $2,400 that other people won't necessarily have as well to utilize towards the help.
You know, and that's something that, again, I had to learn by talking to other individuals that knew more than I did at that time, right? And, you know, once I figured that out, perfect example is when I was stationed in Colorado. The house that so the BAH at the time was $1,800 for me. The house that my wife and I got was a little over $2,100 a month. So we just paid, you know, what, $400 difference.
Yeah.
And that was our mortgage. The BAH, it was almost as if I was living on post, didn't even see it.
Yeah.
That went straight to the mortgage, and then I paid an additional $4 out of my own gross, and I mean, that was too easy. But the comfortability of allowing that process to get us into a home that was working for us, right? A home that was, you know, by post, it was everywhere that we needed it to be. That was just, it was absolutely killer for us. It was amazing.
Yeah, and then if you were to keep that house today, BH would almost probably be that, if not exceed it.
Or more, yeah.
And I don't know how long ago that was.
That was like 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah, for sure it would have gone up.
The good part about that is getting that amount, right, of that BH, I thought it was going to restrict me, and it didn't restrict me in the way that I thought it was.
Yeah.
And so when we left Colorado, I mean, too easy, because I, you know, sold that house, supplemented, got all that equity out of it. And I think service members are just unaware of how some of these programs work. And it's no fault to them. I mean, they're busy serving our country, right? They're busy doing things, but also family it's a big deal. You know, getting a home, being financially stable within a home it's a big deal. And so these are just little things that I think that we can touch on and expand on to kind of help our servicemen and women understand, like, what are the benefits of your BAH? What are the benefits of using that and not just being restricted to the amount that you know you're receiving for it, you know?
Yeah, because the conversations I've had, everyone knows, like, yeah, I should buy a home, right? I want to buy a home for my family. I feel like this is the right move, but I almost feel handcuffed by, like, well, this is what I'm given. Yeah. And it's like, well, if you just look at the full picture of the full financial picture, if you go, okay, well, $2,400 of this I could use strictly for a home, making my payment $600. Yeah. Love to have that opportunity purchasing a home.
Oh, I know.
But again, a lot of sacrifice, and there's a reason that you get that.
Yeah, and I think it all goes back to, again, just having the knowledge, you know, having the knowledge to just understand the benefits and understand the progression that you can make, you know, but you're not bound by this certain amount, you know. And That even goes back to qualifying a service member for the VA loan. A lot of service members are just service members are really scared, thinking that, oh, if I want to use my VA loan, I just don't know how, I don't know the process, I don't know how it works. Yep. The process is so much easier than it is if you don't have a VA loan. It's a lot harder for people who don't have a VA loan to get into a home than it is for someone who does have a VA loan.
100%.
The leverage that you have, I think, is the biggest nugget right there.
I've made the joke of like, I wish I would have served knowing what I know now about the VA loan, because it is so powerful knowing that you have the ability to go up to 4 units and do this and potentially have rentals down the road. And
you could 4 units, rent out 3, live in 1, and have those 3 pay out your mortgage. You know, we've heard that so many times, but gosh, it's true. It's just, it's so unbelievably true. I mean, I'm living proof of that stuff, you know. And again, this is opportunities that came to me because, of serving in the military, but it's also, these are opportunities that I want to, and you as well, to just relay to our servicemen and women. I think it's just, if they know this information, they can make better decisions. If they know this information, they can understand processes a lot better. It's about getting the knowledge out there, letting them know you're not restricted, you're not confined. Open up your thinking a little bit, and let's get you into something that's going to make sense for you and for your family.
Yeah, it's just whatever your mindset is on BAH, it'll stay that way. Right? If you see it as a gift and a positive, it will be. If you see it as like, this is what I have to stick to, then you'll be like, well, why can't I find anything? And again, everyone's financial outlook is different when it comes to what they have to spend money on outside of that. But I can tell you, I was just sitting on this information of like, if your house payment what truly was like the 600, right, of your own money, paying down the principal balance on the loan, half of that 600 is going straight to the principal balance. And I guarantee over the course of a year, your home's going to make at least $300 a month. So I mean, that is it's a little delayed gratification. It'll all the numbers make sense.
No, I agree.
So thank you again for hopping on and watching this video talking about BAH. Very happy to be able to get this education out, mainly on just mindset when it comes to your BAH, and it's whatever you focus on, that's gonna be what it is, right? If it's a negative in your eyes, that's what it'll stay. You want to see it as a positive and look at the bigger picture when it comes to your finances and not strictly that allowance. Thank you, Amir, for coming on and sharing your piece of actually using BAH and being in the military and talking on it from your experiences. And hoping to educate more and more people.
Thanks for having me, man. Look forward to continuing doing these things and continuing to be a part of this process with you. So appreciate you having me on.
Of course, I appreciate you. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit subscribe. You don't want to miss any videos here on this channel, and looking forward to seeing you in the next one.